Hey, what's up, stock compounders? Brad here. So I want to do a Q&A session today. Now, these are questions that I pulled out of the comment section in the last couple of videos. So they're fresh and I really like them. So let's dive into these questions. The first question, are there any value investing books you would recommend? So there's a number of them that I really like, but I'm going to recommend this one, Invested. How I Learned to Master My Mind, My Fears, and My Money to Achieve Financial Freedom and Live a More Authentic Life. This was written by Danielle Town with a lot of help from Phil Town. And it takes kind of the complex concept of investing, all of the many pieces of investing, and it brings them all together in a very digestible way. And of course, Phil Town has been teaching investing for decades. And one of the things I really appreciated about this book is it takes, what the concepts that he put forth in his first book and his second book, first book being Rule 1, second book being Payback Time, and it really brings them current, kind of how he's approaching those concepts in investing. And things have changed over the years. So it's really nice to see all in one place how Phil Town is approaching things. So highly recommend that book. Second question, what have I been up to lately in terms of thinking about investing, getting into? And there's two things I want to share here. The first is actually reading this book, Invested. It encouraged me to revisit this idea of investing with my values, right? What am I passionate about in the world? What kind of world do I want to see in the future? What kind of world do I want to contribute to? I don't think I've really revealed this on this channel yet, but I have a big passion around sustainability, around permaculture. A lot of you probably aren't familiar with permaculture. In short, permaculture it really means permanent culture, or it started as permanent agriculture. And it's really a way of meeting our needs as humans, where we're not muddying our nest, right? We're not mucking things up for the next generation, the next several generations. We're doing things in a way that can be continued indefinitely while maintaining, this quality of life that's available to us. So, I've been thinking a lot more about, well, how do I really infuse that passion, those values, into putting my money behind businesses? And there's an investor I came across. I posted something on Corner of Berkshire and Fairfax asking about, ESG investing, socially responsible investing. And I got a really interesting response. And it was this podcast with the founder of Massif Capital, not Massive, Massif, Massif. And I'll link to that podcast episode if any of you guys are interested. But it's this investment manager who, doesn't think very highly at all of ESG funds. He thinks they're mostly, marketing, greenwashing. They don't actually produce the impact in the world that investors are hoping to produce by investing in these funds. But his approach is he wants to find the companies that are helping society transition to a kind of a decarbonization, where we're pulling carbon out of the atmosphere. We're much less reliant on fossil fuels to meet our needs, and so there's the transitioning companies, the companies that are actively helping us transition to a low carbon society. And there's also the enabling companies, which he uses the example of mining companies for these elements, for these materials that we need if we're going to transition from, the society we have now to a society where, we're not contributing to global climate change and that kind of thing. We need those building blocks for that transition to take place. And there's a lot of stigmatization around mining companies now that, all mining companies must be, none of them could be ESG, environmentally, socially responsible, because, obviously extracting that, from the earth is just a bad practice, right? It's easy to paint all of that with one brush stroke. But the truth of the matter is we need those particular materials in order to transition to a low carbon society, a low carbon future. So yeah, it was just really interesting. I found that podcast episode really thought-provoking in terms of aligning my investments with my values, something that I'm passionate about in terms of having a lower impact, having a lower footprint. Not only having a lower footprint, but actively kind of reversing that, regenerating, how our food is grown. That's one of my main passions, is growing food in a regenerative way that actually enhances the resource base, water, soil, air quality, all of those things. But anyway, that's something I've been mulling over, and you guys are going to see a lot more about companies that I'm interested in that kind of fit into that framework, both from a decarbonization standpoint, but also applying a value investing framework to those companies. Because I'm not simply going to buy into a company because I believe it has potential to, usher us into a greener future. I'm a value investor, right? I'm an investor. I want to get a return for the investment dollars that I'm putting into these companies. So, a lot of value-based investing or socially responsible investing really sacrifices returns. And, I don't think that I need to do that. So my aim is to find the companies that are doing good, that are, ushering us into this more regenerative society while earning great returns, 15% or more per year. So again, you guys are going to be seeing a lot more content around that on this channel. The second one I've been thinking about is Lilu. I got a comment when I did the Pabrai cloning, how you would have done cloning Pabrai. And someone asked about Lilu. And I think Lilu is one of the greatest investors of all time. And he's still relatively young, I think. He was in college in the 90s, which, what does that mean? He's in his 40s or something? I mean, I think he's still pretty young. But there's a huge discrepancy between what we can see on his 13F filings in terms of U.S. stock ownership. Even on ticker terminal, you can see some of his international holdings. And if you add all of his holdings up on ticker terminal, it's like $1.7 billion, okay? That's what he has in 6 different companies. I think 4 are in the U.S., maybe 2 are in China. I think actually 1 is in China, 1 is in South Korea. But so something I picked up from a recent episode from the Invested podcast, going back to the book I just recommended, Danielle Town talked about a way to see the total number of assets that a fund is managing, right? Assets under management. Because when you look at the 13F filings, it's important to know, say the biggest holding, for example, Monish Pabrai, the biggest holding is Micron. But you might want to know, even though it's the biggest U.S. stock holding, what is it as a percentage of the whole portfolio? You can't tell that from the 13F filings. So there's a resource, if you go to advisor info through the SEC, I think it's advisorinfo.sec.gov. I'll link to it. It's something close to that. You can look up a fund and see how many assets, how much in assets under management that fund is managing. And so for Himalaya Capital, which is what Li Lu manages, the fund that he manages, I think it was $13.8 billion. Okay, so you've got $1.7 billion in these equities that we can see through ticker terminal. Most you can see through 13F filings. But you've got 12 billion that's not accounted for, 12.1 billion that we don't know what he's doing with. So, I put this out to corner of Berkshire and Fairfax. Does anyone know how we can figure out what Li Lu is doing with this delta of 12 billion between the total assets under management and what we can see? So that's something I've been trying to dig into. If any of you guys know how to crack that nut, how to figure out what Li Lu is investing in right now, I'm very curious about that. Because like I said, he's one of the best investors out there. He's the only investment manager that Charlie Munger has given money to invest for him. So just a fabulous guy to clone, at least to generate ideas for companies to invest in. That's primarily what I'm looking for with that. Question 3, could you make a video on how to start an investment fund? So I've never started an investment fund, so it wouldn't feel right to me to make a video on how to do it. I once sent a note, and I made a video about this. I sent a note to Monish Pabrai, kind of asking for advice on how to go about starting a fund, because I was thinking about it a few years back, just kind of doing my homework on it. And he was kind enough to respond. He wrote back, and he said, ask the people at corner of Berkshire and Fairfax. There's a lot of investment managers in there. There's a lot of people who have set up their own funds. So that's the resource I would recommend. Corner of Berkshire and Fairfax. It's a message board community. It costs $23 US, 30 Canadian dollars lifetime, I believe, to get in there. And you can ask really smart people all kinds of questions. I'm using this more and more as a way to generate investment ideas. And obviously I asked the question about Li Lu's holdings. It's just fantastic. And there's actually one of the threads in there is, what have you bought today? So you can see what people are buying, and also what have you sold today. So it's just a fantastic resource. So that's what I would recommend if you want to start your own fund. Connect with the people in there. Question 4, how can a U.S. investor trade securities in South Korea? So again, I haven't done this. I haven't traded securities. I haven't bought equities in South Korea. But I got a tip from one of my subscribers a while back. And, for some of these markets that you can't buy stock directly, you can buy options, which I thought was interesting. So one potential way to get securities, equities in these companies where you can't buy them directly is to buy options, right? And then you can exercise the options and end up with the underlying equities. Okay, so that's one kind of roundabout way to do it. Of course, do your homework. There could be issues with, I don't know. I don't even know what the issues could be. I don't know what I don't know. But do a little homework before you try to implement a strategy like that. And then the last question, I'm just going to do 5 questions here. Is it better to post so this was about my monetization video. and growing a channel on YouTube. Is it better to post a video every day and have scattered content? So this person is thinking, well, if I'm starting an investing channel and I want to do a video every day, I might not have enough ideas around investing to post a video specifically about investing every day. So should I make a video every day anyway and maybe talk about peripheral things to investing or just other things that I'm interested in? Or should I focus on producing only content about investing and maybe not do it every day? Maybe do it every couple of days. It's a great question. It's a question that I've wrestled with. I'm sure a lot of you who are making content on not just YouTube, but any social media platform, I'm sure you've wrestled with this. The easy answer that I have, and this is the same answer that Gary Vaynerchuk has, which, again, if you guys are making content or you want to grow any kind of social media channel, highly recommend Gary Vaynerchuk. His book, Crushing It, is fantastic. And he would say the same thing. Make a video every day. When you're starting out, you don't know what's going to work, okay? You have no idea what your audience is going to resonate with. And the only way for you to get better at knowing what your audience wants to see is to throw everything you can against the wall and see what sticks. It took me 3 months of making a video every day before I had enough data to look at which of my keywords were performing best, okay? So I could double down on those keywords and make more content about those things, because obviously those were things that my audience was interested in. But I want to give a little caveat here as well. As channels grow, I think it's really tempting, and I've seen this with big channels, to solely focus on content around what you think other people want to see, right? And what the big keywords are, what's gonna put dollars in your pocket, what are the biggest money-making videos going to be? And I think that's a bit of a mistake. And the reason for that, obviously people can grow using that strategy. But I think the mistake there is if you do that, you're going to lose the intimacy with the people who are really interested in the same things that you are, right? If you're putting out content because you're interested in that stuff, that's the best kind of content, in my opinion, because your passion about that topic resonates with your audience. The audience can feel that. If you're just chasing bucks, if you're just chasing the biggest keywords, yeah, I get it seems like it would be difficult to stay excited about that, right? It feels like work showing up when you're making content in that way. I got to imagine folks burn out trying to do that. And again, one of the biggest pieces of value that I've gotten from this channel is connecting with people who really share my interests, right? And you're going to miss that. You're going to lose that over time if you dilute your message to chase the most popular keywords. And so, recently my channel has hit a bit of an inflection point. I've seen quite a bump in watch time. You guys have probably seen some of that data that I've been putting out. And I've been thinking about it, and I think I'm going to do the opposite. Whereas most people, when they start to grow, they look at, all right, how can I continue growing? What keywords can I hit that are going to, how can I ride this wave of growth? I'm actually going to go more narrow. I'm going to go deeper into what makes me weird, right? What are the things that I'm interested in that not many people are interested in, right? And that's how most of us are made up. Most of us aren't interested in what the masses are interested in, right? The most popular things on YouTube, whatever. That doesn't excite me. So you're going to see a lot more, like I said, about this passion that I have for sustainability, and how I incorporate that into the companies that I'm researching for my investments. So that's what you can expect. Yeah, so that's my tip. Make a video every day. And, push yourself. Try to make a video every day about investing if you really want to grow an investing channel. I think you can do it. I think there's so much content. Once you start making content, you realize, there's just so much more. It just starts unfolding in ways that you can't see when you're just getting started. So yeah, that's my advice for that piece. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for today. Hope you enjoyed this Q&A, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.